there's a challenging spirit within Honda. It gives us the courage to go faster and the thinking to make it real. Whether it looks like a truck, a sedan, or an SUV, inside is the heart of a race car.
My name is Jason Alder, and I'm the driver of the number 77 Ligier JS F3 car. Being a race car driver is cool and all, but it's really nothing when you're not utilizing it for a good cause, like spreading the word for type 1 and type 2 diabetes. It does a lot for me personally, and it does a lot for the FDA.
Some of the symptoms of type 1 diabetes are sudden weight loss, vision changes, frequent urination. So remember to check the guess it may not be the flu, and that education is knowledge, and knowledge is the power to help save lives. Go to dfda.info to check out Rocco's story. Thank you and have a great day.
Good morning and welcome to the final race of the weekend for the F4 U.S. Championship powered by Honda. My name's John Fippin. We're coming to you from the Mission Foods VIR race weekend here, all part of the Speed Tour, and it's our Andy Scriven Memorial weekend. I'm seated here with our guest commentator, and that's Nick Persing. Nick, great to have you with us, my friend.
Yeah, great to be here. Love commentating. Fun race. Love Virginia. Lots of action on track. This track induces a lot of mistakes, so it's always great racing. Really important just to be consistent, be a good driver here, and so, yeah, glad to be here.
Great to have you with it and have your expertise to lend to us, as we've had an eventful weekend for the F4 U.S. Championship drivers. First race of the weekend, didn't get very much running, but we're hoping to improve that this time. Pole sitter, I believe for the first time this season, Gabriel Fonseca in the number 76 out of Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport. Out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, the young Brazilian youngster turning the fastest lap in yesterday's second race, and that will put him on the pole for this one. Starting second, another of our international drivers out of Lorraine, Quebec, Canada, Lucas St. John for J. Howard Driver Development in the number 98. Lucas with the 157.1 to put him outside of row number 1 for this third and final race of this weekend, race 15 on the season. Starting in row 2 on the inside is the 65 of Noah Ping out of Buford, Georgia. Noah was one of our guest commentators yesterday. Noah with Velocity Racing Development, currently third in the points standings. Great to have Noah up at the sharp edge of the field as he's looking to back up his third place finish in round number 13 earlier this weekend. And there's your what was your points leader until yesterday, Lockie Hughes. Lockie unfortunately had an unfortunate race on the first race of the weekend and did not score points for the first time this season. And the driver for J. Howard Driver Development out of Gold Coast, Australia, came back yesterday with a second place finish, driving from the back, and that put him right back in contention for the points lead. But he has surrendered that points lead to Bryson Morris, who for the first time since early in the season now has the points lead by just about 2 markers. Bryson has 3 wins and 7 podiums over the 14 rounds we've contested so far, and that's the consistency of podiums. As definitely, there he is. You can see Bryson right now. He will start this race in 5th position inside of row number 3. That consistency on the podium. He has not been off the podium since Mid-Ohio, where he won the first round, then finished 3rd and 2nd. He had a trio of podiums at New Jersey Motorsports Park, and a podium, a second place, and a win here this weekend as well. There's Matt Christensen in the number 45 for Velocity Racing Development. Matt having a good weekend. He started the season out great. He had 2 wins and 2 podiums in the first 6 races, but unfortunately has had trouble getting to the podium since then. He's been in the points every race but one, but Matt looking to uncork his season here and move a little further up in the point standings. As we mentioned, this is our third and final race of this weekend. It is round 15 for the season. We have one more venue early in November. We're heading down to Circuit of the Americas. As you see, the number 66 car of Ryan Sheehan for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports. Ryan will start outside of row number 4 out of Horseshoe Bay, Texas, near the Austin, Texas area. Ryan had a win this weekend in the first race of the weekend and a third place finish in yesterday's second race. There's the number 8 of Andre Castro for Future Star Racing. Andre just doing a partial season with us. He raced with us at Mid-Ohio, was not able to compete in New Jersey, but then back with us for this weekend and says he'll be with us down at COTA as well. Andre perhaps looking for a full season of racing next season, but with the Future Star Racing team, Al Unser Jr. involved in that as one of the driver coaches. Great to have Al Jr. in our paddock. As you get a beautiful shot of this beautiful October afternoon. It's a little chilly this morning. Temperatures in the high 30s when we first got up. As there's the 4 car of Seth Brown, who's had a pretty decent weekend. Seth will start 9th position, just inside of row number 5. He's out of San Diego, California for Jay Howard. Seth lies currently 12th in the points championship. He has 6 points paying finishes so far this year. He's coming off his best finish of the season with a 5th place finish in yesterday's race. There's the number 17 car of Tyke Durst out of Cary, North Carolina. He would be the local driver, if you will. The driver who is, he's from Cary, North Carolina, only about from VIRginia International Raceway, right on the Virginia-North Carolina border. And Tyke looking for a good result here this weekend as well. He'll start 10th. So far this year, he's only had a handful of points-paying finishes, but he's coming off his best finish of the season with a 7th place finish in yesterday's race. Of course, we're honoring Andy Scriven this weekend. We do every year that we come to VIRginia International Raceway. Andy, the designer of this F4 U.S. car, who we lost, unfortunately, a couple years ago due to a distracted driving incident while he was riding his bicycle. And though he eventually succumbed to his injuries after that, as you see Lucas Ficuri, another of our international drivers in the 55 for Crosslake Kiwi Motorsport. Lucas out of São Luís, Brazil. And Michael Boyadzis in the number 3, scoring his first points-paying finishes here this weekend. He finished 10th in round 13 and 9th yesterday, so Michael Boyadzis getting on the points table for the first time this weekend. He will start back in 12th position outside of row number 6. Heading further down the order, there's the number 12 of Ethan Barker out of Houston, Texas for the Barker Racing team. Ethan also breaking through for his first points-paying finish. That was in round 13, where he came home in 9th spot. The point schedule for all of the FIA classes is basically only based on your finishing position. No bonus points for qualifying on the pole or leading the most laps. It's strictly your finishing position. 25 for the win, 18 for second, 15 for third, all the way down to a single point for 10th place. As you see Al Morey, the 4th. Al out of Fortville, Indiana for Jay Howard Driver Development. And there's Maddie Oust in the 09 car. Maddie breaking through at the tail end of the New Jersey round with her first finish in the top 10. As the safety car pulling away from the false grid. James Rogerson aboard the Honda Civic Type R, as we will have 2 formation laps for this race to give these youngsters an opportunity to suss out the track conditions with these cool conditions overnight. Want to make sure that they're aware if there are any slick spots out there. A couple of our earlier races here from our SVRA competitors have had a few incidents, so our race director, Scott Goodyear, choosing to give these drivers 2 formation laps before we line up for the Formula One style standing start here on the front straightaway. So with that in mind, let's run the starting grid for you. Starting alone in row number 10 is Alex Berg in the 08 car out of Buford, Georgia. Alex drives for the Doran Kroll Racing Team. In row number 9 on the outside is Daniel Cara, making his debut this weekend. Daniel, a Brazilian, currently living in the Woodlands, Texas, in the Cara Origin Motorsports team. Going to contest the last 2 rounds here with the hopes of a full schedule coming up in 2023. Alongside him in row 9 is the 25 of Jacob Bolin out of Leland, Illinois. Jacob driving for the IGY6 Motorsports team, an all-veteran owned and staffed motorsports team. Welcome to them. They're new to our paddock here this year. Up into row 8 on the outside is car 9, Carl Bennett, a Thai American, currently living in Yorba Linda, California. He races for NOLA Racing. In row number 15, in row number 8, in 15 starting position, the 09 of Maddie Oust. We saw her earlier out of Mansfield, Texas for Crosslink Kiwi. She's one of the recipients of the PMH Powering Diversity Scholarship. Glad to have her in the field. Moving forward to row 7 on the outside, we saw Al Morey, the 4th, out of Fortville, Indiana, for J. Howard Driver Development. Alongside him is the 12 of Ethan Barker for Barker Racing in position 13. In row 6 on the outside, car number 3, Michael Boyadzis, coming through with his first points-paying finishes of the season for Tampa, Florida, also for J. Howard Driver Development. Alongside is the Brazilian Lucas Facuri in car number 55 for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports. In row 5, the 17 of Tyke Durst from Cary, North Carolina for NOLA Racing, and the number 4 of Seth Brown out of San Diego, also for J. Howard Driver Development. In row 4 on the outside, car 8 is Andre Castro from New York City for Future Star Racing, and the 66 of Ryan Sheehan out of Horseshoe Bay, Texas for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport. In row 3, the 45 is Matt Christensen from Orlando, Florida for Velocity Racing Development, and the new points leader, the number 39 of Bryson Morris from Mount Juliet, Tennessee, near Nashville, for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports. Second in the points by just 2 markers. We'll start outside of row 2. That's the 6 of Lockie Hughes from Gold Coast, Australia, for J. Howard. Next to him is Noah Ping in the 65 out of Beaufort, Georgia, a podium finisher already this weekend for Velocity Racing Development. And on the front row, in the number 98 of Lucas St. Jean from Lorraine, Quebec, Canada, for J. Howard. And your pole sitter, I believe for the first time this season, the number 76 of Gabriel Fonseca out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports. Once again, the safety car coming by our commentary position here on the front straightaway, leading the field around for a second formation lap. Looks like everybody's been well behaved. Nobody's fallen off on the formation lap, which is a point of emphasis in the drivers' meeting this morning by our race director, Scott Goodyear.
Who's your favorite for the race today?
Exactly. I'm just listening to Scott Goodyear talking to one of the teams that is going to bring in the number 3 car of Michael Boyadzis to start from the pit lane. So perhaps some infraction on that parade lap is what has caused him. So yeah, he's been given that information. So if you fall out of order or have an off-course excursion during the formation lap, the regulations require you to come into the pit lane and start after the field is released. So apparently Michael Boyadzis running afoul of that regulation, and that's going to move him to the back. Talking about this race course, Nick, this is a really lovely part of this racetrack, as they call the climbing S's.
Yeah.
That is every driver's favorite portion of this track.
It's amazing, especially, in that F4 car, you're not too much on the limit there, but moving up from the F4 to the FR car, you were on the limit there pretty heavily in the FR car, and it's just amazing going through there because you just pin flat until turn 10.
Yeah.
You don't really need to slow down until turn 10, but it's just amazing going up there.
Yeah, turn 10, that left-hander is a very daunting turn as well, as it's a blind entrance. You can see the field coming through that, and that sets up for the very important sequence at turns 11 and 12, the double apex right-hander, which leads on to the longest straightaway, 4,000 foot, sort of an undulating back straightaway with lots of vertical in it. This weekend, that's the Franklin Road turn 11 that you're seeing as the car is beginning to stack up as they work their way through turn 12, which is the oak tree bend, so named for the large oak tree which used to stand right at the apex, but sadly was struck by lightning a few years ago and had to be removed. But the name remains. You can see some tin tops circulating on the Patriot course, which is inside the full course here at Virginia International Raceway. So don't be alarmed if you see cars that don't appear to be in the same class as these, as our safety car coming up to the roller coaster, and the field should begin to form up 2 by 2 as they will work their way down onto the front straightaway and take their starting positions. We can see our staff members lined up in the first 2 grid positions to bring Gabriel Fonseca and Lucas St. John into their grid spots, and then the balance of the drivers coached into their grid spots by their teams. I realize that from the driver's perspective, you can't see that line that you're coming up to. So you got to have somebody give you directions.
Yeah, so if you can actually still see the line when it's in front of you, you're way behind it, way further
Exactly.
than you think, and it always throws me off because I'm always like, well, aren't I behind the line? Like, I want to stay back here. But, you know, Michael, my engineer, he's always like, no, you got room, move up. And I always tell him to park me 6 inches behind it just in case, because, you know,
in case
you
the
don't
car
know what
rolls
happens.
a little bit when you put it in gear, sure.
Just a tiny bit. And so, I don't know. It's just funny because, I mean, if you can see it, you're way, way too far behind.
Exactly. Front 2 rows in position as the rest of the field now rolling into position. Again, there's a light gantry that the drivers can see when the field is full. There are 2 green lights that will illuminate at the top of that gantry, indicating to the drivers that we're about ready to start the light sequence. You can see the light gantry there on your camera shot. And the green lights will be lighting here momentarily. And then 5 lights will light in a 1-second sequence. And then when all 5 lights go out, we are away. You can hear the engines on the rev limiter as these drivers are on their way to turn number 1. Gabriel Fonseca gets a good jump. Lucas St. John falls in right behind him. But there's always good side-by-side action coming into this first turn as everybody trying to maximize their positions. As we can see on we got 2 cars come together. I believe that's the 98 of Lucas St. John that is off at turn 1. And the car right in front of him might have been Noah Ping. I'm not positive. We'll check that out as we've got 2 other cars going off there at NASCAR as we've had an eventful first couple turns here once again as we've had trouble getting green flag laps in, especially early in these races. Pace car's been asked to stand up. Go ahead.
I think that was Gabriel Fonseca in turn 1.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct now that I see that. As the field still racing at speed, they will be seeing the full course yellow, and it just now comes out. So the drivers have a yellow light on their dashboard, which the race director can illuminate to indicate that we're under caution, so there's no doubt. As we'll get a replay coming to get a chance to have a look at what happened there at the first turn. It's been an area of concern. You can see St. John there in the front. And he's to the outside.
He drives into the back of him. Pow, right into the back of his, right into his back wing.
Yeah, that's a tough break, man. Absolutely. I think he just left his braking way too late.
Yeah.
And into the back of our pole sitter.
He might have locked his front tire a little bit. So.
Yep. And then we've got 2 more going off, as you can see, just to the outside of turn 3. Don't have numbers on those 2, but again, hopefully the drivers all able to get back underway. But the safety car called into play once again here in the opening stages of this, as the field will pack up behind the safety car to give safety crews an opportunity to get up and get these 4 cars back underway. As the field just now coming into our view here on the front straightaway, and it is the 65 of Noah Ping at the front. Lockie Hughes right behind him, then Bryson Morris, then the 45 of Matt Christensen as they survived the carnage out in front of them. Andre Castro in the 5th spot. Seth Brown up to 6th. Lucas Ficuri, Ethan Barker, Alex Berg, and Gabriel Fonseca still being shown in 10th. He has not come by the line yet, so we just have those 9 cars that have crossed the stripe so far.
Alex Berg up to 9th from last.
Absolutely.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah, that's a great job. And here comes the 17 car of Tyke Durst with the with some debris under that front wing. I thought for a moment there that the wing itself was damaged, but it looks like he ran over somebody else's debris. They're cleaning off his visor, as I'm sure that kicked up a lot of dust and dirt. Dragging that piece of debris is the 09 car of Maddie Alst off track as well. She looks to be off at the outside of 3, so she must have been one of those 2 drivers that went off in the run between the Horseshoe and NASCAR Bend, turn 3. We understand the 66 car of Ryan Sheehan also into the pit lane. And you can see the damage to the front wing there of the 98 car of Lucas St. John after that collision with our pole sitter. Tyke Durst, after his call to the pits, has rejoined as he's heading back out on track. The crew immediately going to work to replace the nose of Lucas St. John's car. You can also see Ryan Sheehan's car here. And there is the slick of some fluid on the right rear tire of that car. I can see it from our vantage point here overlooking the pit lane. So it looks like some damage to the 66 car has caused him to drop some oil. So that may further complicate things, as the safety marshals will have to have a look at the racetrack to see if there's any oil put down on the racing surface. If that's the case, it may well be a more extended yellow flag period while they get safety crews out to deal with that oil potentially put down. But we'll wait for a ruling from race control as to whether that's going to happen. So Alex Berg, what a great start, all the way from the very last position up to 9th. Daniel Cara in 10th, Michael Boyadzis 11th, Jacob Boland 12th, Carl Bennett 13th, Al Mori in the 14th spot, Tyke Durst, the last car to come by. So we've lost Gabriel Fonseca and Lucas St. John, Ryan Sheehan, the other car involved in that collision, and Maddie Oust off as well. Maddie's had a tough weekend. It's not been, the stars have not aligned for her. As you can see, the damage to the right side of Matt Sheehan's car, and there's definitely some oil leaking there.
I'm interested to see if these Jay Howard guys can get the wing on before the safety car comes around, and if we'll be able to stay on the lead lap or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Race against the clock right now.
Yeah, they're working hard on the 98 of Lucas St. John. And I believe they've got it done. Yeah, yep. Great job. So with a fresh nose, Lucas St. John making his way out, and he'll just beat the safety car out, assuming that they'll let him out of the pace car driver James Rogerson speaking with race control, giving his impressions if there's any slippery spots out on the track. So the track is, apparently the corner workers are not reporting any fluid down, so it looks like we may be able to get a restart here. Yep, sounds like we are going to get a restart this time by. That's the word we're getting from race control. As Lucas St. John hustling to catch up to the pack. He'll have trouble getting all the way around, but hey, it's good that he got that wing changed and didn't go another lap down. So you've been doing any surfing this year? Have you had a chance to get home and get wet?
Well, sadly, I've gone to college now, and I'm going to college in Boise, Idaho. So
not too much surfing in Boise.
Yeah. Not much surfing out there. There's a river wave out there that's pretty cool. You can go surf, but you know, I spent the last 2 weeks this summer surfing every single day because I knew I was going to miss it. But yeah, I've gone one day because I was home for a weekend. Actually, I came home for the weekend because I was testing my FR car at home on Monday and Tuesday. So I came home early, went surfing on the weekend, which was fun. But other than that, I haven't been able to do it much recently, and I miss it.
What are your plans at Boise State? What do you hope to major in?
I'm majoring in marketing, I'm pretty sure, unless I decide to switch. But as of right now, I'm going to go into something marketing related, I'm pretty sure.
Awesome.
I figured it'd be good for racing. You know, help me out. It's better to have that backup just in case, and really it's manageable too. A lot of kids don't go to college that are racing and stuff like that. As long as you have a schedule, it's really not that hard. I got almost all my homework done before I came out here this weekend.
Yeah, and you could do remote learning obviously when you're on the road.
Yeah, and most of it's online now anyways. Like I still have all in-person classes. I go to my lectures and stuff, but it's really not that hard. You know, getting used to it at first was hard, but I was like, how am I going to do this? But, you know, I just get all my work done before I come out here, and it really isn't that bad.
Awesome, awesome. Lucas St. John just came by our vantage point just as the field is entering turns 11, the Franklin Road turn 11. They'll be heading down the straightaway, so he'll have a chance to catch up with the back of the pack, I think, before we go green. This is a timed race, and the clock is still running. We're just about halfway through it. We're 9 minutes down and just over 10 minutes remaining. This is a 20-minute timed race. Lights are out on the safety car, so we are ready for a restart. It will be a single file restart here on the front straightaway. They don't do a standing start on restarts. James will begin to accelerate away from the field about the time they get to the roller coaster, and that will turn the field over to Noah Ping, and he's by rule required to maintain safety car pace until he gets to the apex of turn 17, the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers hog pen turn. And once he's there at the apex, he may accelerate toward the green flag. As you can see, the field nicely formed up line astern. So Noah Ping coming down the roller coaster and just entering that turn 17 now, as we should see him accelerate. You can see Lockie Hughes, his head bobbing back and forth as he's trying to maintain contact with our leader. And here they come into our view. Lockie Hughes got a great restart. He is right on the gearbox of Noah Ping. And then Bryson Morris, the new points leader, right behind him. Matt Christensen there as all three of them stay line astern. Andre Castro right back there. Popping out is Matt Christensen, or he tries to go around Bryson Morris, and Lockie Hughes goes to the outside as well. Let's see as they head toward turn 3. Everybody successfully through turn 1. Fingers crossed that that trend will continue. Still side by side for second position. I believe that's Lockie and Bryson Morris going after that.
Whoa.
Really wide there at the exit of left hook. But at the moment everybody makes through, it is Lockie Hughes in second, with Noah Ping out in front and stretching his advantage. Andre Castro, the big mover, restarted fifth. He's now up to third. Then there's Bryson Morris right behind him, followed by Seth Brown in the 4 car. As they work their way past the villas there on the climbing S's. The Optima S's. Oh, and we got a spin, and that's Bryson Morris, our points leader. I don't know if he got any help, but Bryson Morris going around. We got another driver coming off, taking out some of the barriers. 2 drivers off course, but they are able to get back on. It's one of the Jay Howard cars, taking out some of the signage here. And we've also got a car off, 2 cars off, down to the inside.
There goes my braking reference for race 3.
Yeah, that was most likely coming through South Bend, turn 10. You can see the skid marks here for that car down in the hollow. I think just carried a little too much speed through that very tricky turn. And we'll get a replay here as they come through. Bryson Morris just loses it all on his own, and he spins. And then I think perhaps some evasive action from behind, as we see a car coming through taking out one of the Franklin Road signs. As the 10 car goes by of Daniel Cara. So sadly, we are under a full course yellow once again as we have cars stranded out on track on this restart lap. Noah Ping, your leader. Lockie Hughes in second. Andre Castro up to third. Seth Brown survived for fourth. Alex Berg continues his charge from a 19th place starting position, running fourth right now, or fifth, excuse me. Then Lucas Ficuri in the 55. Tyke Durst up to seventh. Carl Bennett eighth. Daniel Cara in ninth. And Al Morey in the final points paying position in the 10 spot. Michael Boyadzis, Jacob Boland, Lucas St. John all made it through, but Bryson Morris and Matt Christensen and Ethan Barker are the cars stranded out on track. Christensen looked like he got back on track, and then the car apparently stalled. There's Ethan Barker down in the lowest point of the hollow there at the exit of turn 10. In one of the earlier races, the IGT race earlier today, we had a couple drivers having trouble at turn number 5, which is the right-hander just after left hook. And James Rogerson, the safety car driver, has been checking out the track at that point, making sure it's not slick. And he says there's kind of a shiny area, but the track, he says he can't get the car to break free. So he thinks it's okay. Of course, he's got tread on his tires. I don't know if slicks might treat that a little bit differently.
Yeah, definitely.
So unfortunately, another eventful race for our F4 U.S. championship competitors, as we're struggling to get green flag laps with these youngsters. This is a racetrack, and Nick, you can certainly address this. This is a racetrack that punishes mistakes. If you drop a wheel off, just the topology of the track is such that the off-track area, the grass, falls away from the track virtually everywhere. The track is sort of elevated on top of the topography. So if you drop a wheel off, you're going for a long ride.
Yeah, you're very far gone. Especially coming out of the hog pen in this last corner, it drops off so much. You would think you have plenty of room to run wide there and maybe bring it back on track, but if you drop it off there, you can actually very likely end up in the wall. Same with a lot of places around this track. There seems to be areas where there's a lot of room, but because the grass slopes off, you don't have any stopping power whatsoever, and you can just end up in the wall.
And the grass is still damp. We had torrential rains here last weekend. I was here for the SCCA runoffs last weekend, and it was just sodden, and it hasn't dried out. So the grass is still very slick. So if you go off, you're going for a long ride, unfortunately. As the countdown clock continues, we've got 4.5 minutes remaining. I don't think any of the 3 cars that are stranded are damaged, so hopefully, if they can get on the racing surface, they should be able to get back underway, and with a little luck, we'll have a green flag finish on this one. So Noah Ping taking the lead here, looking for his 3rd win on the season. He had a win in round 6 at Road America and backed that up with a win in round 9 at Mid-Ohio. He's kind of on a trend here where he wins the last race of the weekend. So Noah looking for his 3rd win on the season. He's only 40 points behind Lockie Hughes in the battle for 2nd right now. Bryson Morris, of course, will relinquish the points lead as he will finish outside the points in all likelihood. Lockie Hughes, if he can maintain another 2nd place finish or perhaps even get to the front around Noah Ping, would retake the points lead. Noah Ping doing himself some favors as well, closing up. So Bryson Morris could find himself in 3rd in the points before this race is over. Safety car being instructed to stay on track for this lap at least. We understand that we unfortunately are going to finish this one under yellow, as the checkered flag will be the next flag seen, and sadly the safety car will be leading the field around for this final lap. So barring a catastrophe for any of these drivers, Noah Ping notching his 3rd win on the season, with Lockie Hughes retaking the points lead in 2nd. Andre Castro finishing in 3rd. Andre, as we said, just doing a partial season. He has 1 podium already. He finished on the podium in the first race yesterday, but unfortunately a post-race infraction dropped him back a couple spots, so he wasn't able to maintain that. So he's still got a single podium so far, and looking now for his 2nd one here in round 15. For those of you on the stream, we have 1 more race to go, as there's Bryson Morris. He's been extracted from the grass, and he'll catch up to the back of the field, but sadly out of the points. We have 1 more race to go a little later this afternoon, as the Formula Regional Americas finale for the weekend, scheduled for the green flag at 11:10 this morning, and we'll be back with you for that race, and we'll look for Nick Persing to notch his 1st win of the season, perhaps.
Yep, I'm starting 4th in that race. I feel like I come alive in the last race sometimes. Mid-Ohio, I was good in the last race, but just made a mistake. Same with New Jersey, I was really quick. I just made a mistake, so hopefully if I can keep the mistakes down, I'll be there. For sure. I'll be
all right.
there up at the front for sure.
We'll be cheering for you, my friend.
Thank you.
And thanks for your expert commentary. I'm sad we didn't get more green flag racing, but we did have a little, so that's a good thing.
Well, I think there's something to learn from this, actually. You look at Alex Berg. He came from last to fifth because he kept his nose clean.
Yeah.
I think that's, especially with this track, the nature of this track, there's so many mistakes are made at this track. If you can just keep your nose clean in this series, you can finish high up in the points championship at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's all about being mistake-free, and as we said earlier, this is a track that punishes mistakes. So it's good to see a driver like Alex Berg to keep his nose clean and get from last all the way up to fourth, just on the cusp of a podium. So. Listening to some communication from race control, and we're going to get the field around on this final lap and into the pit lane. I'm going to make my way down to talk to our podium finishers, and so Nick, thanks once again for being with us. I'll turn the microphone over to Jonathan Green, my compatriot in crime here, as he'll cover the highlights, and I'll see you down at the podium. We'll be back with you in a couple hours for Formula Regional Americas.
Great stuff, guys. Thank you very much. Nick, appreciate it. Best of luck in your race. We'll let you go and get prepared for that. We are expecting a win, no pressure. He's grinning. And there's the checkered flag, as we expected. Sadly, to finish under safety, but like you said, a lot to learn from a race like that, especially for Alex Berg. I've got a feel, though, for Ryan Sheehan. I stood next to him and watched the oil drip out of that car. And, yeah, not what he wanted out of this weekend at all, having had a good start to the weekend. Well done, though, to our winner here under caution as the checkered flag waves. No, Ping then, doing the business. We'll do a full check on the results in a moment, and John Fippin will head down to talk to our winners. Let's take a look at some of the highlights then of what was an action-packed race as we went off a little bit of a jump start from the mid-pack from one of the Howard cars, J. Howard cars, and then an incident involving Matty Oust and another one at NASCAR going off there, 2 cars involved. And the 66 of Ryan Sheehan having come to pits. And there was some oil down as well, and that might have led to some slip sliding. 39 going off. That's Bryson Morrison, a winner yesterday, but that's motor racing, folks. Another one of the J. Howard cars throwing up the signs. That was a bit of a moment there, but Noah Ping came through in the 65 to take victory over Lockie Hughes and Andre Castro. Well done to them. Beautiful day here at VIR, starting to get the full sunshine on the track and heat things up. And Noah Ping, who we spoke to yesterday, he was in commentary as well. We'll be pleased with his day's result. And as John Fippin was saying, there'll be one more single-seater race later. And that will be race 3 of the Formula Regional Championship coming up for the FR boys and girls. So, Noah Ping, Lockie Hughes, Andre Castro, Seth Brown 4th, Alex Berg 5th, Lucas Mercuri in 6th place, Tyke Durst in 7th, Carl Bennett in 8th, Daniel Cara in 9th, and Calvin Mori in 10th position. Fonseca was also another one involved in one of the incidents, so I just saw his car being towed back as well as Matty Oust. Coming up next, we go back to our SVRA coverage. We'll have action from the Group 5A, 7, 10, and 11, their feature race 2. And then we follow that with groups 2 and 9. Then we go to FR Americas and our groups 6, 8, and 12. And don't forget, local time 1 p.m. That's 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll have the TA GT class races. And that'll be a 100-mile race. So they make their way back to Parc Fermé, where John Fippin is waiting for them. Remember, all these drivers looking for a chance to be noticed and hopefully get the next step up the ladder, which is to the FR Americas Championship. Exactly what Hunter Yaney did, and many before him have done. He now racing in FIA F3. And as you can see, winding past the building, we're in that crow's nest you see in the red barn there. We're right at the top of the tower, so we get a good decent view here as they pass behind our commentary position and down to the podium places. I'll be joined once again by Ben Sissel as we head on to our SVRA coverage. But as Noah Ping makes his way in the 65 Ligier Honda for VRD, well done to Dan Mitchell and his team. Another win for VRD. And it's the American Noah Ping getting out the car. Celebration for him. And I can see John Fippin is about to get him. So as soon as that helmet comes off, there's Dan Mitchell greeting him. Congratulating Noah Ping on what was a very good result. Yeah, just talking, just listening in, and he was saying that there was a lot of oil out there, but we know why. And off comes the balaclava. Bit of celebration, and I think he's going to tell the safety car. That's good, thoughtful thinking by the driver. Just let the safety car know what's happening. And give a bit of information there. Let's hand over to John Fippin. I know he's chomping at the bit to have a word with our winner, Noah Ping.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
James Rogerson giving a little.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
James Rogerson giving a little kudos, I guess, to our winner, Noah Ping. Noah, you kept your nose clean when all around you were crashing. Well done, my friend.
Yeah, thank you. There was some oil out on the track. I spotted when we went full course yellow there, so it was right on line too. So you really had to almost run the wet line here, and it being cold too didn't help. So there are a lot of variables out there that definitely caught some people out there at the end.
What did James say to you when you first came over?
Yeah, he was just like, thank you for being safe under the safety car, and he's telling me that, like, when I put my hand out the window and tell you to slow down, the race was over. So he's just giving me some pointers so I didn't spin it there in the oil or something. So it's good that they everyone likes to give you advice, and that is helpful, you know. So that way we don't make a mistake and spin on the safety car lap or something.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
There you go, Johnny.
Thanks, John. Yes, and Noah Ping getting congratulations from everyone. We'll take a short break here from Virginia International Raceway. Congratulations to the young American on his way up the ladder towards Formula One in the FAA F4 Americas Championship. Well done to him. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back with more.
Everything in our garage is inspired by our racing spirit. Race in for a great deal on the Honda CR-V. Only at the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event.
My name is Jason Alder, and I'm the driver of the number 77 Ligier JS F3 car. Being a race car driver is cool and all, but it's really nothing when you're not utilizing it for a good cause, like spreading the word for type 1 and type 2 diabetes. It does a lot for me personally, and does a lot for the FDA.
Some of the symptoms of type 1 diabetes are sudden weight loss, vision changes, frequent urination. So remember to check those guests, it may not be the flu, and that education is knowledge, and knowledge is the power to help save lives. Go to dfda.info to check out Rocco's story. Thank you and have a great day.